today I am in Payson, which is a place I've been to many times, but I've never camped here before. It is like an oven in Phoenix right now, and it is 97 degrees in Payson, but I'm up here anyway because it's like it's the best option that I have right now for camping. And so I got a spot that I'm going to that I think on a map it looks really cool. We'll see if it looks cool in person. See if I can even get there. But it's only about 11 miles from my current position, so I may have to vlog fast. First and foremost, I've got t-shirts are still available. I've got 2 more designs in the works that I'm going to order probably late August. Just came out with some new stickers. They look really cool. I actually paid an artist to draw it for me, and it looks awesome. I'm super happy with how it turned out. And I've already sold a bunch, so like if you guys want to get them, probably you should get them. Because I don't know if I'm going to make more. I'm debating like doing like one-off stickers. So like every time I make some, maybe that's like the only time that particular sticker gets made. In fact, you know what? Let's say we're doing that. Let's say that's the case. So if you want to get a sticker, there's over 100 right now that are left, but I probably won't make any more with that design. However, that design will appear on t-shirts and stuff. This might be where I'm turning. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see what else. The DR650 mixture screw is in development. I've got it almost done. I have a prototype done. All I have to do is get my hands on a DR650. So if you guys have one and you are willing to install it, hit me up. Maybe we can work together. Of course, you can keep it if it works. If it doesn't work, you can send it back, and then I'll send you one for free once they're done. But I know a guy that has one. I just haven't had the time to get together with him. So I'm going to work on that. It's been a while since I've been on dirt, man. Also, I want to plug my machinist because he's up in Prescott Valley. So he's here in Arizona. His pricing is fantastic. He does great work. He communicates really well. And every time I order something, I get it like twice as fast as I really expected to get it. The shop is called Superior Kinetic Technology, and his name is Ron. But I'll put his website in the description if you want to check it out if you have any custom work that you want to get done. I'm going to have to keep my ass on the right side of this road. This is narrow, bro. Alright, so what else is happening? Oh, something exciting happened. I was on a podcast. And if you guys follow Dual ADV, you might know that he has a podcast called Dual ADV Radio. And I was on it the other day. So I think he posted that. At this time, it would have been a week ago, because I'm uploading this video a week after I shoot it, but I think he uploaded it today. And it's like an hour and a half long, which is like the longest podcast he said he's done. But it's cool. We talked about motorcycles for a while. We talked about nonsense for a while, because you know how I am. I always start like, my brain goes to weird places. So like we ended up talking about introvertedness and extrovertedness, and apparently he grew up in a military family, and he traveled every 2 years, and he's got a lot of cool he's got a lot of cool stories that I think he didn't realize he had, that he's never talked about in videos. But anyway, I tried to get a lot of stories out of him, so if you guys want to check that out, I really encourage you to do that. I've also been thinking about starting sort of my own podcast. It's been an idea that's been in my head for well over a year, but I want to make it more of like a YouTube show. I want it to be like half an hour long, and ideally, I actually have people with me in person that I'm talking to, because I think that's best for a show. So let me know what you think about me starting something like that, because right now I'm not feeling like I want to get it going, you know. I got to buy new equipment, I got to learn new things, I got to like go out of my comfort zone, which is good. It's good to go out of your comfort zone. But anyway, let me know what you think about that. And check out the podcast. I'll put the link to his page in the description as well, if it's still up, because last night I looked at it and the website was down. So if it's not up when you're watching this, it will be up eventually. That reminds me, there's a patron giveaway finally happening, because I have an item in my bag that I am giving away. And today I'm going to be using it and reviewing it. And I don't know if you guys want to get in on that. You can. The giveaway ends, I believe, August 31st, so you have until then to get entered. Pretty excited to be doing that. I wanted to wait till I had more patrons, but I had some companies reach out to me and ask if I'd if I do some reviews on their products, and I thought, you know what, yes, because I need some giveaway items. So that's coming. I'm trying to give you guys a lot of value for your contributions, and I want you to know that it's appreciated. So now that's all out of the way, I don't really have a topic. I do. So let's see, at the end of June, I really hurt my back. Like, I had ants in my office where I edit and everything, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta take care of this ant problem. So I was spraying the ants with poison, and then the ones that were running around on the carpet, I thought, you know what, I'll just vacuum them. And so I was vacuuming. I turned around to pick up the vacuum cord, and I felt like I broke my damn back. Like, I sprained my lumbar, something in my lumbar area. It was excruciating. Moral of the story, don't bend and turn at the same time, because your back will break. So for like 2 weeks, I basically felt like I was disabled. I could barely actually get into or out of a car or in and out of bed. It was the worst. And then 2 weeks after that happened, I had planned on this Europe vacation with my wife and our friends. So we went out and did that, regardless of my back. It healed during the trip, but it was interesting. I had to wear like a back brace on the airplane and stuff. But I want to talk about the trip, because it's something that she's wanted to do her whole life, is to go and see European countries and actually like travel around to a few of them all at once. So we had 2 weeks and we went to 5 different countries. I thought about vlogging it. Some people on Patreon were asking why I'm not, and it's just because it was a personal vacation, you know, it was family time. Because vlogging it's work, kind of. Like, if you're going to be vlogging, everybody that's with you has to be on board with it. Otherwise, you're just walking around talking to a camera, and while everybody else wants to talk to you, and it bothers some people. So I kind of like the idea of going to Europe and doing a vlogging trip and like vlog an adventure over there. That'd be cool, especially if I could rent a motorcycle. Like, come on, man. But that's for the future. So anyway, we flew to Iceland for a day because it was cheaper to fly to Iceland and then to Scotland than it was to just fly straight to Scotland. So we thought we were going to save money, but Iceland is really expensive. So between the hotel, the car we rented, and some of the activities we paid for, I don't think we saved any money. But I was pretty excited because I rented a Peugeot 208, which is a little French car, and the one I rented was a 5-speed, which I thought was hilarious because in the United States, I don't think you even can rent a 5-speed or a manual transmission. At least, it's not the default, I'll say that. So that thing was fun to drive around. Iceland is beautiful. There's no trees. It's all like volcanic rock and moss. So it just looks like you're in Game of Thrones, I guess. But I think they filmed Game of Thrones there. But it's cool. We went to the Blue Lagoon, which is a gigantic hot spring, and it was really fun. It was like $90 to get in there, but I mean, what else are you going to do in Iceland? Oh yeah, we went to a flea market, and in the back of the flea market, there was a guy selling meats, and he had horse meat. He had horse sausage in there. I thought that was pretty cool. I did not buy any of it because, well, I probably wouldn't have bought any anyway, but we didn't have a way to cook it. Anyway, so Iceland was cool. After that, we flew to Scotland. We flew into Glasgow. We rented like an Airbnb type apartment. It was pretty awesome. Hung around there, drank a little bit, saw some things. The bar atmosphere was interesting, I thought, because they don't have table service at all. At least none of the bars I went to did. So like, you're expected to go in, go to the bar, get a drink, and sit down wherever you want. And that's pretty much all it is. Also, throughout the trip, not just in Glasgow, I found that nobody wanted to really take a credit card. Like, I had only brought a credit card. I didn't bring a lot of cash because if my wallet got stolen and the credit card gets charged, I can just tell the bank that it was stolen and nothing happens to me. But if it's my debit card or if it's my cash, that's really my money. So that's the reason I did that. But it was like, you need to have cash is basically what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to those places, like the pubs and stuff, I think they wanted cash. So anyway, drank some whiskey. Their whiskey pours are like really small, which I thought was odd. They're like a half of like a shot would be in the United States. But whatever. So let's see. After Scotland, we flew to Berlin. Stayed in a hostel. That was a pretty cool experience. Had a room to ourselves. That was really nice. We didn't have to bunk with a stranger. Just kind of wandered around. We were only there for 2 days. We went to the Murdered Jew Memorial. That was a sobering experience, and I highly recommend you do that because that was kind of I just feel like I learned more. You see the scale of what really happened over there in a way that I don't know if movies necessarily portray. Beer there was really good. Had some good sausages and some good sauerkraut. It was all right. I just feel like I didn't get much of an impression of Berlin. I didn't have much time there to really soak it in. I feel like the people there have much less of a sense of humor, it seemed like. Like they weren't interested really in having a little chuckle. You know, like if we were doing something silly and we'd made a joke to someone there, they didn't seem like they wanted to play along, and it was kind of weird. But I'm sure they're nice people. The city was beautiful, very modern looking, which makes sense because it was bombed. But we saw some old buildings, had bullet holes in them and stuff. Like, it's crazy when you see a building that's really old and there's like chunks blown off the side of it, and then like up by the windows there's bullet holes. Like somebody was in that window having a firefight at some point, and that was kind of crazy. It would have been cool to go inside and like stand up there and see that person's point of view, probably the point of view that they died in. So after Berlin, we went to Rome, Italy. Rome's a pretty cool city, super old, very touristy. Most of the people on the street did not appear to be Italian at all, but it was a cool city nonetheless, and the food was outstanding, and I think you should go there for sure. It was also really hot. It's kind of a buzzkill because we were planning on going out and doing some tours of stuff. I went to the Vatican City, and we were gonna do the Vatican Museum. The line was so long. It took an hour to get into the building, and then once we were in the building, there were so many people in there, we like lost the line that we were in. And I looked at the girls, I was like, you guys just want to bail? Because this sucks. Like, it was hot, we were lost. I was like, whatever is in there, I don't know if I care more about that or if I care more about having some pasta and a beer right now. So we just left and went and got pasta and a beer. So after Rome, we went to Mykonos, Greece, which is a party island, and I did not know that. I thought we were going to an island to hang out on a beach and everything, which we did do, but looked up on the internet and it was like, they say it's like second to Ibiza as far as party economies go. If you want to call it that, it is a party economy. The place we were staying was bumping beats the whole time. I was like, come on, man, like turn the music off a little bit. I'm chilling by the swimming pool. It was cool though. Some ladies were tanning topless. My wife and I ended up going to a beach that apparently allowed nudity. Saw a lot of wieners. But it was a beautiful place, and the water there was super clear. Highly recommend going, actually, to that place. I would probably go back, but I think I'd make a different plan of action, because we sort of just planned on chilling on beaches in our hotel, and we ended up just kind of getting bored, because when you just plan on relaxing, you get someplace and you're like, okay, it's time to relax, and then you don't want to because you want to go do stuff. You just get bored as hell. So anyway, that's the trip. You probably didn't need that much of a play-by-play, but I just like to ramble, apparently. So a couple of things I took away from it was, if you're going to do a 2-week trip in Europe, it's not fun to get back on an airplane as often as I was getting back on an airplane, because we'd have like 2 days someplace to like settle in, and then we'd have to get on a plane again, you know. So you're constantly in public transportation, sweating and car sick if you're like me, because I do get kind of car sick in public transport. And then you got to fly somewhere, and you're probably hungry because you didn't pack enough granola bars or whatever, and I don't know, just add stress needlessly to what's otherwise a cool trip. So I think if I did it again, I would probably try to stay in one country for a full week and then fly somewhere else and stay there for a full week. But the other thing I took away from it was that it felt like an adventure for sure, but it never really felt like a vacation. You know what I mean? Like, you know how they say that like people, like, you plan a vacation, you end up having a more stressful experience and you spend more money. And that's kind of what it felt like. Like, it was really cool, and I definitely would do it again for sure. But it wasn't like mentally relaxing. It didn't put me in that place where I think we kind of expect to get to when we go on vacations. I don't know quite why that is or how that really works, because the last time I can remember having a pleasant vacation was when I got laid off from my job. Because I got laid off like a couple of weeks before my wife's summer break from school, because she's a teacher. And we ended up just going back to Illinois, which we planned on doing anyway because I was getting married back there. So we just got married and had like a month and a half or something that we just chilled. And I woke up every day and I had nowhere to go, nowhere to be, no one to talk to, and nothing to really think about. And I didn't have another choice. Like, that was all there was. And I really enjoyed that experience, actually. Like, looking back on it, it was super relaxing. And I wasn't really worried about finding a job because I figured I knew I'd find something. But yeah, I just thought it was odd because thinking back, that was like the last time I really remember having like what I would call a vacation. What I would say felt like a vacation. Guy looks like he's having a good day. People, I think, are over there in the creek. I forgot about this. This is an actual designated campground. That's why there's so many people here. Oh, fucking fantastic. Hi. Sorry, I always take that easy because crashed in one of those once because there's a bunch of moss under my tires. And that is a no bueno. No bueno. So yeah, let's see, I've done about 9 miles. I've talked about way too long. And I don't know. I'll see you when I find my campsite. Yep, that is it, son. They always look rougher in person. It just looks rough because I've been on this nice graded forest road. And now I gotta ride up that. Oh man, hope that spot I'm going to is not fenced off. Did not know there was a fence up here. Oh, I can go through though, it looks like. That is the thing about Arizona that I really thought was odd when I moved here, was that a lot of places have gates and they're closed, but you can go through them. And it's a livestock thing, because people have livestock that hang out on this land, and you just can't have the livestock running all over the place. So, it always puts me in a good mood when I see a fence that doesn't have a no trespassing sign. So I believe I've just found a really nice place to camp. Yeah. That reminds me, another thing I want to talk about, and that's I don't think I'm going to share these locations. First, a couple last camping videos I did, I think I shared the locations on, and I thought, a lot of people are going to see this, and I don't want those areas to get trafficked. But I mean, if you want to go camping on forest land, half the fun is finding the spot on your own. So, I don't think I want to catalog that stuff. I might give it up to patrons, but I don't really want to make it public. Pretty sure this is it. So I'm going to check my map, make sure I got the right waypoint. I know a lot of you guys, you just use GPS like mounted on your bike, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just like to use Google Maps, mostly because I'm cheap. Yep, there's my waypoint. Basically, I go on Google Maps, I scout out locations, if you put a pin down on Google Maps, you can put like a little marker on it, and I use a little green marker to indicate waypoints, meaning that's where you should make a turn. So, then I download the map, so I can view it when I'm in airplane mode and when I don't have cell service. Because when you're in airplane mode, you can still see your GPS location. So if you download the map, you actually have everything you need to get around. And that's how I do this. And I have been meaning to make a video actually on my computer, like screen grabbing everything I'm doing to explain like what I do to actually find these locations. Because I know a lot of you guys, live in areas with public land, but you may not know how to do it. You may not know what areas you can camp on. I have some methods, but I'm saving that for a rainy day. Mainly, like, if my wife is out of the house, I'll sit in my office and talk to myself for an hour and get that done. Looks like that's the camp spot. The ground is not level, though. I like this and I hate it at the same time. Because camping on unlevel ground is the worst. I mean, if you were just out here to drink and have a bonfire, that's one thing. I think that's what this has mainly been used for. Right here might be doable. Now that I'm on the bike, I can tell that it's more level. I'm also extremely thirsty. Right here might be it. I think this is it. That way I'm also out of the sun. It's rare that I get a campsite that has shade. You know, I don't know if I can camp here at all because of whatever this is. Whatever kind of insect that is obscenely loud. All right, so I'm going to ride back up this road and see if there's a better spot, because those whatever insect is making that noise is going to really interfere with my audio. I walked up here a second ago and looked, but I didn't go all the way back up the road. Like, none of this is really flat. Right there is kind of flat. Yeah, man, I think I'm just going to camp in the middle of this grass over here. This is probably the most trouble I've had trying to find a camping spot, but like right here in this field is like probably where it's at, and I think I'm going to go over to that tree. So, and there's a beautiful fire pit here. This is it. This is my home sweet home, and I like how this field looks anyway. It's actually easier to ride on this terrain than it is to ride on that road. Alright, I think this is going to be it. It's closer to the road, just in case someone can find me, because over there you could not see me. I think this is it. Alright, well, I'm going to get set up, and then we'll move on. It's 4:22, man. This is the latest I think I've ever arrived at a campsite, and the sun is so high in the sky. It's crazy. Whew. Well, I just had a GoPro error, so I hope I didn't lose anything. But I haven't really shot that much with the GoPro anyway, so we should be good. So right now, I want to talk about, well, first of all, here's my new tent. We'll talk about that later, and I'll probably mostly talk about it in the next video, because I need to get some experience with it before I form an opinion. But right now, I want to talk about what's wrapped up in this sweatshirt and kind of go over it with you guys. This is an Enkeo portable power station. This thing is basically a portable battery pack for camping and adventure and any kind of activity where you think you're going to need power and you need to carry it with you. It's got a little handle on it. It weighs a decent amount, but I mean, if you're packing it on a motorcycle like I am, or you're carrying it in your car, the weight's not really going to be a factor. It's got an LED light on the front, which, there you go, you can see it's quite bright. And I like that in order to turn the LED on, you have to hold this button down, because if you press it once, nothing happens. And I like that because if it's rattling around in my bag and that button gets tapped, I'm not going to have this light come on accidentally and start draining my battery. But in the back here, you can see you can put the standard 2-prong plug in here. So like I actually, at home, I plugged my Dremel into this thing and it could run a Dremel. So like you could bring a Dremel with you in a toolkit and you can have the ability to run it if you've got something like this. It's also got 3 different USB ports, and I'll be honest, I don't know what QC3 is, but it has one of those. And then you've got DC out, which is you can plug a little power socket in there, and you can run something that you could normally run off of a car, you know, like an air pump. So today, before I went out, I aired these tires down because when I get back to the main road, I can plug that in, and I can air my tires up. And I got plenty of power to do that. I press this button, and I don't know if you can see it in this light, but a little display lights up with how much battery you have left and whether it's an AC or DC mode. That's pretty handy to see because then you can tell if the thing is being charged or not. Anyway, once I turn this GoPro off, I'm gonna probably charge it tonight because I have the ability to now. So I can't plug it in now because I got it on my head, but I like this thing. When I was at home, I charged my phone twice with it, and I topped off all of my batteries, and this thing still wasn't dead. So, I mean, it holds an admirable amount of charge, and it seems pretty durable. I'm really impressed with it, and I'm going to give this away to a patron. If you haven't seen the Patreon page, I'm going to try to spend the money I get from pledges on equipment and things like this. Although I will say, Enkeo sent this to me to show to you guys, and I thought it would be a great giveaway item. Yeah, check out the Patreon page if you want to win this thing, and you can see how that works. The giveaway ends August 31st, so if you guys want to get in on that, you have until then to think about it. Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This has been a hard one so far. I don't know how much of it I'm going to cut out, but I went to another spot to look for a campsite, and I spent 40 minutes over there debating whether or not to camp there. And then these bugs started making all this noise, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna go ride back up the road and find the best flat spot. And so that's what I did, but then it took me forever to figure out how to set this tent up because I didn't I should have set it up before I left, obviously, but I don't have an excuse for that, actually. I just didn't take the time to set the tent up, so I had to figure it all out. So I don't have a fire pit. I can't make a fire pit because I'm not supposed to make a fire. I have meat to cook. I hope I brought my pocket stove. I don't usually use it, but I'm pretty sure I usually bring it. Oh, I'm hungry and thirsty and tired. It's nice to get off my feet though, to be honest. That's really, I think, what I needed. So I'm just gonna try to figure out how to do this food thing, and then I'm going to drink because that is really what I want to do right now. I just want to drink and pass out. It is 5:21, which normally I'm cooking by now. This area is really pretty though, I'll say that. I just don't know if I'd come here in July. I don't know if I've talked about this in the past or not, but like I'm not a summer camper. I am a fall and winter camper. If it's cold, I'm happy.
I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking and mixing and fixing the sauces, and I call you back. Running around in the city, I run it, I like it, I'm busy, so I'll call you. I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking and mixing and fixing the sauces, and I call you back. Running around in the city, I run it, I like it, I'm busy, so I'll call you.
That's how you make a camp taco.
I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking and mixing and fixing the sauces, and I call you back. Running around in the city, I run it, I like it, I'm busy, so I call you.
Well, it's good. It tastes good. But I mean, the combination of not being able to make a fire pit, not having my normal tent, and frankly just being kind of worn out made this really difficult. There are bees after my food. That is a first. You guys know what time it is? It's time for whiskey. I'd say I deserve it today. Oh, probably gonna upset some people with my opinion of this one. This is Woodford Reserve, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong, it's super smooth, it's easy to drink, it tastes good, but nothing really stands out to me. Like, the smell, I just get, it's sweet. Like, get away from these wasps. It tastes good, but it just doesn't really leave like a lasting impression. Like, I don't drink it and think like, oh, that tastes like this thing that I like. I can't like pick anything out of it. It just tastes like a really good smooth bourbon. Like, if you want to get somebody into bourbon or into whiskey at all, something like this is kind of what I think you want, because it's super unoffensive. There's not a lot of crazy tastes in it. My friends liked it, but I think that's because it's so smooth. This might be the easiest drinking whiskey I've had out here. I'll say that. It's just super smooth and slightly sweet. As sweet as a bourbon should be, probably. That's pretty tasty. Well, 6 o'clock, I don't really know what else to say. I guess I could talk a little bit about this tent. It's a backpacking tent. It's a lightweight backpacking tent made by River Country. River Country is a company I found on Amazon, and they sell like backpacking tents and hammocks and stuff for like super cheap prices. I can't remember the state they're based out of, but they're out of the United States. And this tent here was $55. I bought this as a giveaway item, which is not for this giveaway, but for the future. And I like it. It's practical. Already I have some issues with it, but for $55, I really don't know how much better you can do. So we'll see, because I'm sleeping in it tonight. And I can already tell you it is not very well ventilated, and that's kind of a problem. Although I think this is a vent. It's supposed to be a vent. Yeah, there's a vent there, but I don't think I'm gonna stake these out, because I'm trying not to use the stakes that came with the tent, because I don't want to get them dirty. So I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Check out that Enkeo portable power station. I'll put a link in the description. And I believe Enkeo is offering a discount right now. I don't remember what it was. I haven't talked to them about it because I've been working on this forever. Like, they sent me this a month ago. But if you follow that link in the description, they're going to give you some money off if you want to buy one of these. So, and I highly recommend it, because the one thing that I don't have when I come camping is power. I don't have the ability to charge a phone. I don't have the ability to charge my cameras. And if I'm going to do longer trips, I'm going to need something like that. And if you're going to do longer trips, you're going to need something like that. So check that thing out. So I'm just going to drink this Woodford Reserve and hopefully relax a little bit.